The Misadventures of Cadaver Joe, a speech at the Eternal Crypt. In the heart of Liberty Heights, deep within the shadowy corridors of the Eternal Crypt, the residents were abuzz with anticipation. Today was a special day. Cadaver Joe, the eternally confused lich, was scheduled to deliver a speech. The Crypt's residents, an eclectic mix of aged villains and undead beings, gathered in the dimly lit common hall, their curiosity piqued. Cadaver Joe, with his thin white hair, hollow eyes, and skeletal face, shuffled onto the makeshift stage. His tattered robes fluttered slightly as he approached the podium. He glanced around, his hollow eyes reflecting a mix of confusion and determination. Clutching his blue tie, he cleared his non-existent throat. "Good evening, everyone," he began, his voice echoing through the hall. "It's great to be here, or wherever here is. Is this Delaware?" A few chuckles echoed from the crowd. The Red Indian, with his exaggerated features and wooden armor, whispered to Claus Schwabug. "This is going to be interesting," Cadaver Joe continued, oblivious to the whispering. "I remember back in the day, we used to have a thing. You know, the thing. And Corn Pop, he was a bad dude. We settled that with chains and something else." He waved his hands vaguely, as if trying to grasp elusive memories. The skeletal minions in the audience, always up for a bit of chaos, began drumming their bones on the tables, creating a rhythmic clatter that seemed to cheer Joe on. "And let me tell you about the kids," Joe rambled on. "They used to play with the hair on my legs. It would turn blonde in the sun, and they'd reach in the pool and rub my leg down. So I learned about roaches, and I learned about kids jumping on my lap." Liberty Heights villains and undead residents exchanged bewildered glances, but they were entertained nonetheless. Joe's speeches were always a source of unexpected amusement. Joe paused, squinting at his notes. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Truth over facts. That's what we need. And if you don't know whether you're for me or for triumph, then you ain't orcs. A moment of stunned silence followed, then uproarious laughter. Cadaver Joe, taking the laughter as applause, smiled broadly. Thank you. Remember, we choose truth over facts." As his speech wound down, two of the Eternal Crypt's wards, sturdy skeletons dressed in ceremonial robes, approached the stage. "All right, Joe," one of them said gently. "Time to head back to your room." Joe looked at them, slightly confused but compliant. "Did we get the soup?" he asked as they led him off the stage. "Yes, Joe, we got the soup," the other ward assured him. The residents clapped, some out of genuine amusement, others out of sheer relief that the speech was over. As they clapped, the eerie sound of skeletal applause filled the hall. To the amusement of many, a few residents' hands fell off, their skeletal joints unable to withstand the enthusiastic clapping. Hands tumbled to the floor, fingers scattering like dry twigs. The residents, unperturbed, merely picked up their fallen appendages and reattached them with casual ease. Cadaver Joe waved to them as he was escorted away, a contented smile on his skeletal face. Back in his room, Joe settled into his ancient creaky chair. "Did I do good?" he asked one of the wards. "You did great, Joe," the ward replied with a smile. "You always do." As the door closed, the hall outside buzzed with the strange mix of laughter and confusion that always followed one of Cadaver Joe's speeches. In the Eternal Crypt, even the most perplexing moments were treasured, adding to the whimsical tapestry of their undead lives.